We have a very special guest here today on the Iconic podcast. It's Ameerah from Orris Labs. It's just so amazing to be able to have this conversation with her because a lot of you have been asking around my signature scent. A lot of you have been asking about, how can I find something that really embodies who I am and gives me that sense of like how I want to show up in my day. And I have the creator, the woman who can help you do that in the room today, Ameerah. And so, Ameerah, I just want to welcome you to the show. I want to thank you for being a sponsor of the magazine and this beautiful partnership that we have in 2026 together. I want to thank you for collaborating with me on my signature scent and then also really introducing this to other women so that they can find something that really empowers them as well.
Thank you so much for having me and for giving me the opportunity to join your magazine and to tell my story as well.
Well, that's where I'd love to start. I actually don't feel like I really know your origin story. I know a little bit, but you really dove in the deep end of entrepreneurship and building this brand. And so I'd love to know like what got you to the point? What made you think about this and building a brick and mortar and a place that women could come and create their signature scents?
In the beginning, it was an idea. So I did study perfumery. I do have that background. But instead of working in a lab, I chose to be an entrepreneur. It was never the intention, never the goal, but it just was something that organically happened. So it started off with me just finishing school, and I was with my daughter at home. And during this time, I worked on developing scents and to really see how we could bring this out to the public. In the world of perfumery, the deeper you dive in, the more you realize it's almost like a monopoly. I don't want to say it is, but it really is. And margins are high and costs are high. Everything is just a lot. And I wanted to offer something that was accessible to everyone and that's enjoyable. So I started with a pop up, and everyone said, why would this work? People can just go to Shoppers, they can go to the Bay and get a perfume. We took a risk, and here we are. And like I said, organically, we've been growing. And part of this is really because I focus a lot on the ingredients that we use. So everything is skin safe, everything is clean, even for eczema skin. That's how it started, pretty much.
Well, and you know what? That's how I found you as a pop up at an event. And I was like, this is genius. It was love at first sight because I believe in what I teach so much is really defining who you are, like knowing your tastes, understanding what turns you on in life so that you show up every day in your full expression. I mean, this is what I stand for. And when I saw that we could go around and like develop a scent that really spoke to us, that had all these ingredients that maybe sparked a memory or sparked a feeling or an emotion. And to pull that together where you spray yourself or spray a room and step into that embodiment. Again, you had me at hello. And then we quickly moved into this amazing partnership because I so deeply believe in what you're doing.
Thank you. It means a lot. It is definitely a journey for us, and we do try our best to connect with our guests to really give them a product that is truly special for them, for their skin tone, for their skin type. And like you said, that evokes memories. It's quite emotional for us as well because people come and they'll make a wedding scent with us. And then our perfumes will be in their wedding albums, right? It really does become a part of them and their story.
You do. It's very personal. When I was developing the signature scent with you, I had bought myself a perfume that I was looking to really hone in this personal power last year. I thought I want to have something. And it's interesting. Maybe I'll just go back even a little bit more because my team always reflects this to me. They're like, Jen, everything you do is so intentional. Like everything I pick has a feeling attached to it from my earring to my scent to the clothes that I wear. It's like, who am I being today? How do I desire to feel? What do I need to call through me? Maybe it is more feminine, or maybe it is like I'm sitting and I'm going to pour into people's businesses. So I want to be in that power mode. Whatever it is, I have these anchors, these things in my wardrobe that I place on myself to support myself to become her. And when I was doing the signature scent, it was around that perfume that I had quite enjoyed for the year, but I wanted it to be a representation of that, but softer. And you nailed it. When I describe the signature scent, it's this perfect infusion of both masculine energy and feminine energy. It plays with both sides. It's very musky, but it also has this sweetness undertone to it. that really, for me, again, when I spray myself with a signature scent, it's inviting those energies through because both matter and both need to be a part of my day. Do you have people intentionally doing those things, or is that something you guide your customers to experience or think about?
A little bit of both, right? Some people come in and they have, like, you had an idea, you had a goal in mind.
Yes.
We tried to execute this for you in the time that we had. But then there are also some guests who just kind of let us do, they'll give us an outline. We want something that is for spring, and we'll give them some samples and we'll make it for them. I do actually love when clients come in with a vision and a goal because this lets me be creative for them now. This can be a longer process because, we have to go back and do a lot of sampling, a lot of testing, and then go back and do the same thing again. No, but that is a fun part. We've done a lot of private label for companies as well. And even for them, it's like really diving into who their audience is, who's walking through their doors, how is this scent going to make them feel? And so all these different things play a huge factor.
They really do. Like this morning, I didn't wear my signature scent, actually. I wore another one because I had been traveling all day yesterday and I wanted to feel light and fresh because you're just have those sleepy, kind of tired, depleted energy after travel. So I put it on because, again, it's like a clue and cue of how I want to feel in my day. Do a lot of clients come to you for one scent and then sort of start to graduate into more and more? Like, I imagine it starts with one thing and then it explodes into something really quite spectacular.
We have in our studio around 80, sometimes even 100 accords. And they'll come in, they'll say, okay, they want a fresh scent, that's their goal. But then they'll smell the gourmands and all of a sudden they're leaning towards that sweetness and they're just kind of shocked. I didn't think it would smell like this. And then once they put it on their skin, it really transforms and they're in love. I feel like in any situation you're in, just go with an open mind, be a little flexible as well, because you may not get exactly what you want, but it just is something that may just work with you. And, it's just play around.
Yeah, you're playing with someone's childlike curiosity. You're pulling out in them this ability to not think in between the lines and explore. And when somebody does that, that's where the magic is. It's like when we come in and we're like, this is how it has to be. And I'm a little bit that way, as you know. But when people are stubborn and fixated and not open to exploring, they miss out on an opportunity to learn about themselves or to realize something they loved that they maybe didn't consider before, like what you just said. Like, I didn't think I'd like sweet, but actually, I really love the way this smells. It must be fun to watch them unravel and almost smile and giggle. Like, I can see there being a childlike personality come through.
There is actually, and that's the best part, is seeing people's reaction, especially when it settles on their skin after the perfume matures, which takes a little bit of time as well. That is the fun part. It's a creative process.
It is. Well, let's get into the business because most of my listeners are founders, entrepreneurs, or wanting to be an entrepreneur. And you have a brick and mortar business. And so I always find these businesses the most fascinating to talk about because we have all these online entrepreneurs that are spoiled rotten. They're like worried about making an investment and second guessing their money spend. And then you have a brick and mortar that has no choice but to front load their business and make big investments and do things before even a client walks through the door. So I feel like brick and mortar entrepreneurs, founders have such audacity. I love it. It's kind of how I roll. So I appreciate it so much. Was it scary at the beginning to front load the business and start without even knowing if it was going to work?
It's still scary, to be honest with you. It's funny you say that because in the beginning, when I first started, I really had nothing to lose. It was my money. And, I thought, okay, this is money that I could potentially, if I lose, yes, it would be hurtful, it would be painful, but it wouldn't end the world for me. Now we have 3 stores and we have staff that is full time. This is their salary. We have mortgages, rent to pay. So now I feel like I have more to lose. Now I find it more pressure to do well and it's more stressful. But again, like you have to take those risks. We had to shift our Toronto studio now to a bigger and better location on Bay Street, but
Mm.
that also means more rent. It was a higher investment, the renovation costs. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? But all that money's already been spent, right? Now you don't have a choice, but you have to just kind of swim with the sharks and go for it. And you really do have to have a good, strong foundation and strong team. And I think this is where like I wouldn't be able to do anything I do without the staff that I have, without my marketing team, and without my husband as well supporting with the kids at home. We take risks. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of what ifs. But yeah, it's part of the game. And if you can't play it, then it's not for you, right?
That's it. I love this. Okay. So you said something. I'm going to go back to it because I want someone to hear this really, really clearly. You said, I invested my own money. So, you know what? If I lost it, it would hurt, but nothing like tragic would happen in my life. I think that alone is such a powerful lesson because so many women are afraid to death of investing in themselves because they have these stories attached to it. Like, oh gosh, if I don't get an ROI, I've lost money, quote unquote. Oh my goodness, if it doesn't work out, I've been irresponsible. And I've talked about this so many times. One of my clients had such a profound thing to say. Like, I can't get over it. I thought it was one of the best things I've heard in 2026 so far. It's like when women take risk with money, we're considered irresponsible. When a man takes risk with money, we applaud them. We're like, way to go. You're in the deep end. Like, that's so fascinating. And here we are, you and I, both risk takers who have done something great with that investment, not knowing if it was going to have an ROI, but we made it. What would you say to somebody right now who could go get a loan, who could spend some of their savings, who could do something that moves their business forward, but is sitting on that investment because they're so afraid of it not working?
I think you have to invest in yourself. I read something, money is like water, it needs to flow, right? If you're just
Yes,
sitting on money, it's not going to get better. It's not going to increase. It doesn't do much, right? And to be honest with you, yes, you could put it in a bank and get some interest, whatnot. But that is pennies compared to what you could potentially make. So to take that risk, take that leap of faith, especially if it's a calculated risk and there's something that you can offer and you're willing to work for it. You can't just pour money into something and kind of like step away. You gotta be
that's right.
willing to hustle. Like even if it's like 20-hour days back to back, you gotta do it. Take the risk, but you have to be willing to be investing in yourself and you have to do the work.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And I believe that. And I say this too. So you and I are on the exact same page of like, then when you make the investment, don't make the investment wrong. Don't lay awake going, oh my gosh, I've spent this money. Oh my goodness, maybe I shouldn't. There's no way that money can move. There's no way that ROI is going to come back to you because you're making that investment wrong. Instead, how can you make it right? How can you show up, do more, like squeeze out every last drop of opportunity of the investment you've made, whether it is in product or a mentor or a team member or a physical location, doesn't matter what it is. It's like make the investment and then be the woman behind that investment that makes it the best investment you've ever made. Because I've always said to myself, like, I'm a sure bet. I know I'm 100% guarantee. I know I'm the ROI. So it doesn't matter if the investment didn't pan out the way I thought because I'm the investment. And so if I put that responsibility on me, then I show up every day to fulfill the best trajectory or outcome there can be.
Definitely. I love when you say you have to show up every day. Some days it's not a win, some days are not. And that's the reality of life. But you have to show up the next day, and just keep it up.
You're absolutely right. You said something else. The second thing I picked up was you talk about how now you have team members who are reliant upon the salary to pay their bills. And I really understand that feeling. That was huge for me. That actually kept me up at night more than investing in a mentor and all the other things that I've done. It's like, oh gosh, there's a different level of responsibility now. I'm leading a team, and that team is reliant upon their paycheck and so on. Again, I had to really coach myself through this, similarly to what I just said. I was like, okay, I can make this all wrong. I can panic. I can get in my head, or I can get gritty in my business and scale it and grow it so I can pay them more and love on them and provide gifts and experiences and bonuses. Like, this is now bigger than me. What would you say to somebody who is in the midst of hiring, or maybe they just started to hire and are feeling like what you felt, were like, oh my gosh, now I'm responsible for others? What would you say to her to kind of help her calm her nervous system and do well with these new hires?
You don't have to hire fast. You can take your time, find the right person. In order to grow, you will need a team. There's no way you can do everything by yourself. No, there's not enough hours in a day. So you will have to do this. And I feel like it is a risk, but you have to hire someone that you can trust, you can rely on. If there's a red flag, especially more than one, then you should let them go. And don't feel bad about it because this is your bread and butter. Like you're working hard, and find the right team members. Like you said, invest in them, right? So all my staff, one thing that I'm very grateful for and I will continue to do, they all get paid over minimum wage, well beyond and even the starting point, right? Nobody starts low. Like I try to motivate them, right? So just keep that in mind. As long as your staff is happy, they're motivated and they love what they're doing. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but I apologize if I do make a mistake. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. That was my bad. And yeah, and that makes them respect you and that makes them work hard and that makes them want to support you and go beyond.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
And it makes the business expand when people are excited and happy. Like for me, and I talk about this in podcasts, but you bring up something really valuable here. It's like you can't teach grit, hunger, devotion, excitement, passion. Like those are characteristics, but you can teach customer service, refinement, communication skills, things like that. That would be important for your staff because they're client facing, customer facing every single day. And so it's like looking for those attributes that align with the brand values. Like for me, it is devotion, passion, hunger, willing to think outside of the box. Those attributes I look for, the other things we can teach, right? So you brought up a really good point of having motivated employees and team members that are excited to be there every day, caught the vision, are part of the vision, and not allowing somebody that isn't aligning with that to stay too long because it's very poisonous and toxic to a team.
It is. I know. I tell my team, your strongest, your weakest player. So if there's a weak player, either you build them up or you unfortunately have to let them go.
Yeah, I agree with that. The third thing you said that I found fascinating, I picked up on, and this is a hot topic right now, is you said, and also my husband who's willing to be home with the kids. So, as a woman who is running two companies, has children herself, I know what it takes to grow a business. Now, yours is slightly different because you actually physically have to go to your stores, I'm assuming, for some of your days as well. Like there's all hands on deck. You have to physically be available. Talk to me about that relationship and that partnership that you have and how you've navigated that as a woman and as a mom.
So my husband, I think I'm quite fortunate because he's in IT and he works mostly from home. But even then, his hours are long and he also does my IT. So I feel like sometimes he works even harder than I do, to be honest with you. But I feel like there's no ego there. This is quite unfortunate, but sometimes there are women who will put other women down. And we've had a situation where somebody has made a comment to him, oh, how does it feel that your wife is making more money than you, trying to provoke him. And his response was, I'm so proud of her. And
Right.
that made me very emotional. He's like, I'm so proud of her. She's doing her thing. She's a good role model. There are times like we don't get to see each other or we'll argue about something to do with work or he's not doing my things that are supposed to get done. He's doing his things. That happens. But I think without him, I would not be this far. And my kids are young. I have an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old. So when I'm not here, it's him. He's made a lot of sacrifices for me. In return, I'll do whatever he needs to do.
It's a partnership. You have a partnership. And I feel like that's the missing conversation right now in women rising in success and in business, because we have done the majority of the things at home for most of history. And it worked actually for most of history because men went out and worked. They were the breadwinner and women stayed home and had the babies, looked after the house and cooked the meals. I actually think that was a really great partnership. But now it's a little different. Now, women are not necessarily choosing to do that alone. They're choosing to go out and build a career. We have so much opportunity available to us. It's this refinement and this pivot, really, within the partnerships to know it's dividing the home life as well as dividing the careers. It's not that we do everything at home and now do the business or become successful. It's now at home, men and women, the husband and the wife and talking like in heterosexual marriages, they both have to rise to the occasion and break down the things that need to be done and divide and conquer.
100%, I agree. I'll give you an example for today. Like I said, he's in IT, and the past 2 days, their servers have been down. So he's had to go to the database, and I've been at home with the kids, right? So I've had my team, hey guys, I can't come in, I can't do this. Please handle it. I gotta be here. It's teamwork. It definitely is.
And a respect. I
Yes,
hear that you respect one another.
I hope so. We try our best, definitely. And also because I'm raising girls. I want my girls to see like a healthy relationship.
What's possible for them, right? They watch their mom and their dad build a partnership where they respected one another. They had different careers, but both careers mattered. They respected the careers as well. And they watched their mom build something so meaningful and impact so many people through your mission. Like it's really fabulous what you're doing. I really am celebrating you. And I can only imagine what they will take from their experience of you and their home and how that will unfold and unravel in their adult years.
And I think they are proud. I remember, like, my eldest, she mentioned to her teacher, "Oh, my mom owns Orris Lab." The teacher goes, "Oh, I've been there." For her, that was like, "Oh, okay." Like, she felt really great. So I hope they appreciate it
Yeah,
one
so
day.
good. Talk to me about Orris Labs. What's the future?
We're just going with the flow. I have goals in mind. I want to achieve a certain level of revenue and whatnot. But in terms of how we're getting there, everything has been, honestly, Jen, it's been so unpredictable. If you had asked me last year, like even 6 months ago, will I have a Niagara on the Lake location? I would say to you, no way. I can't handle it. But that happened, right? If you had asked me if I'm moving, I would say no way, but that's happening. Anytime I have a goal in mind, something else happens and I pivot and I just go in that direction. I want to continue our growth, maybe different cities in Canada as well. One day,
Mhm.
maybe international. Of course, these are like long-term goals, but really just bring more people in, let people know about us. And I honestly want to even make the experience better than it is right now. So we have some ideas in mind that we want to implement to really connect with the community and to give back. I think that to me is extremely important, to work with people with disabilities and just different things like that, really connect to a wider audience. And I feel like as a business owner, your goal should not just be money. And if your goal is just money, you're going to get tired very quickly, very fast, and you're never going to be happy. So
Yes.
you have to have other things that you want to achieve.
Thank you for that beautiful message because it's so important. If it's only about money, you are on a roller coaster ride of emotion. When you're making it, it's like, this is the best ever. You're showing up in your business. And when it dips, you retreat, you retract. It's not working. This is it. And you take your customers, your community on this roller coaster ride with you. It's so dependent on one singular thing. Where I think finance, revenue, income, money is inevitable when you are a leader who thinks of global impact. How can I build this bigger than myself? How can I create something that makes such a difference? How can I give back and make a difference beyond the customers that walk in the door, but through the ripple effect of this company and the business? That's legacy right there. Like you're talking legacy business. So, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I always think if you make $1 million, you'll make 2 million. Like it's just,
It
you
never
want more.
stops.
But yes, exactly. Money is important, but other things are definitely
Yeah.
should.
Well, the mission, you're talking
Yes.
about the mission of the
Yeah.
brand. And the mission of the brand can't be, I want to make millions of dollars. You can make millions of dollars. Nothing wrong with desiring millions of dollars and making a big revenue and income. Of course, think that way, be that, do that. But it's got to be through the lens of how am I building the mission, the values of this brand, and building the recognition and impacting others. Because when you impact others, people talk, people share, people say, oh my gosh, you got to go to Orris Labs. I just had the best experience. Now, like, the sky isn't even the limit, right? You can go so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what you said people will say, right? I feel like for us, it's been a lot of word of mouth, and that I'm
Yeah.
truly grateful for as well. So I think connecting with people.
It really is. And just so you know, even in my circle, a lot of people were like, "Oh, did you do your signature scent through Orris Labs?" And, "Oh my gosh, I see that Orris Labs is in the magazine. I got my scent done there." And they were telling me their names. Like, just so you know, and I'm sure you do, but people are talking, Ameerah, like it's happening. And I'm so thrilled for you. So, people listening in, they could have you come and do a pop up at their event, like an activation at their event, can't they? Or they could go to one of your stores, whether it be for themselves, or they could have like a girls' night, or they can create this for their clients. Like you can create all sorts of experiences even within your stores. What would you recommend they do to reach out to you?
Email would be great. So to hop onto our website, there's a contact us form. They can send us an email. All the emails come through me. So I
Yes.
will get back to them. Or they can give me a call as well. The number comes to me right now too.
Oh,
I've been asked many times to set up a phone system, but I think when I talk to people, I hear their concerns. And that's the thing also. Like, I feel like when we start a business, we're so involved and you have to step back. But in certain cases, I still want to stay involved, especially when it comes to
yeah.
talking to the client. I want to be able to connect with them. So they can call me. If they have any issues, any questions, I will answer.
I think that's amazing. Customer experience, customer service will never die.
Yeah.
Not with AI, not with growth, not with online. It's always going to come back to the customer experience and how they felt while they were immersed in whatever it is, your store, your experience of just talking to you, how you show up online, so on and so forth. Like that matters. That's how the business sustains.
Yep, and also even if they've left and they're not happy with something, I'm more than happy to fix it. Just give me a call. What is your concern? I will do my best.
I love that. Well, friends listening in, I would love to challenge you to go to the show notes, go to the website, reach out to Ameerah, and think about some things that maybe you have going on. Maybe you want to have a signature scent to give to your clients as a gift. That's something I've done. Maybe you would like to have an experience with your clients and take your clients to one of the stores and have something interactive that's really great for bonding and relationship building. Maybe you have an event coming up, you want to do something for the event or have a pop up. Like, think about how you can create this within your own ecosystem because it's these little details, these opportunities that Orris Labs offers you that really kind of sets you apart. It's like, wow factor that I know really does, even through our signature scent, made a huge difference. Like, people are like, oh my gosh, I love it. I spray it. I show up and I'm like, what would Jen do today? And I think that's so cool that you think that. Like, they spray themselves and literally show up and think, what would Jen do? Or how can I be iconic today? Like, that's the whole point. So thank you, Ameerah, for what you've built. Thank you for our partnership. It's such a joy to be working alongside of you. I'm really looking forward to seeing what 2026 has to offer you and the customers that haven't even found you yet.
Thank you. And it means a lot. And thank you for your support and your kind words as well.
You bet. Okay, friends, we'll talk to you soon.